Hello, my name is Shawn Williams, and I'm the Associate Professor of Political Science here at Campbellsville University. Thank you for joining us, and welcome to another one of our video podcasts where we're sitting down with candidates who are running for local, state, and regional office here in Central Kentucky to get to know them a little bit better and to talk a little bit with them about the issues that they care about most. I have one of the candidates here with me today. If you don't mind, please introducing yourself.
Hi, my name is Barry Smith. I've lived in Campbellsville all my life. My wife, Kim, we own a Compton Smith battery, me and my brother. I'm co-owner. And I'm 59 years old. And this is something I've kind of always wanted to do. This is something that I grew up wanting to do. As I got older, I would see the past judges, how they, cared about Taylor County, and I just care about Taylor County, and that's something I've always wanted to do. So,
what are some of the reasons that are motivating you to run for office now?
Well, of course, my opponent has served 4 terms, and I think it's just time for a change, maybe a fresh new face, and there's things I would like to see done that maybe he hasn't touched. Nothing against him. He's been a good county judge, but it's time for a change.
Have there been any previous experiences that you've had that you feel have prepared you well for serving in the position?
Well, I am a current business owner, and I've driven a school bus for 16 years and watched children grow from preschool to high school, watch them graduate, and I hope I've made a difference in some of their lives as watching them grow, and there's things that maybe we could have done a little different in our county to kind of help them. There is a lot of problems going on with our drug problems and that, and maybe we could have done some things different to maybe prevent some of that. So,
Are there? You mentioned the drug problem. We'll talk about it here in a second. Are there any other priorities, things that you feel the county really needs to be focusing on? Maybe areas which we haven't been as much recently.
Well, this goes kind of some of your local businesses. You talk to a local business that's had, maybe they do some interviews, they have 5 people that go for a drug test and only maybe 2 pass. You're talking about the drugs. I mean, we should be able to start back in the school system just as like we've got the technology center now. Mr. Higdon's got it up, got the top floor going. And mainly that's for students. But later on, we're going to open it up maybe for adults to attend. So, but maybe if we'd had that back years ago, that might would have helped them get them off the drug end. I mean, teach them a trade. Everybody's not college ready. Everybody don't go to college. Some people are not made to go to college, but they can work. They like to work. So,
do you feel like the county should be doing? You mentioned a couple of times the opioid crisis, and certainly it's difficult to talk about the problems facing the United States, but especially rural Kentucky, without addressing the opioid crisis. Do you feel that the county should be doing more? Are there some strategies that the county could be pursuing?
I have talked to 2 retired state troopers, and they were on drug task forces when they worked for the state police. And they said that they would be willing to come back and help, maybe part-time. They know what they're doing. And I don't know that we have people right now that really know how this all works. And they had offered their services for me. So that might be a way to kind of help that.
There are a couple of issues that if you were to walk around Taylor County, walk around the city of Campbellsville, and ask people what are the things that you care about most. One of those issues is how do we promote business growth? How do we make Taylor County more attractive either for businesses that might move into the area, or how do we make it a better place to start a new business? Do you think that the county has a role in that?
I do. Of course, if you drive from Taylor County to Adair County now, you'll notice the road has been worked on going that way, and we're in the process of getting a bypass. I think the more that we can clean it all up and make the roads attractive, that we'll get more business to come. We got to get them closer to the interstate. I know you can't get them closer, but you got to get them easier access to the interstates and the parkways. If we can get that done, I think that'll help tremendously.
Another issue that people mention a lot, which you sort of alluded to in your opening comments, is that we have here in Taylor County an excellent high school, Taylor County High School. Campbellsville, especially Campbellsville Elementary, is very well regarded. Campbellsville University is one of the fastest growing in the state of Kentucky.
Exactly.
We're producing great students, and then they move and go to find jobs in other places. Are there some things that you feel we should be doing to try to keep that talent that we're developing here to grow our economy rather than helping to grow somebody else's?
We have to connect with a large company some way. It's just like, I was with the governor at a meeting just a month ago, and he was talking about Boeing is looking at Kentucky. If Boeing could come to Kentucky, I believe that would open up for maybe like Campbellsville to maybe get a spinoff company from Boeing. And Boeing, and you're talking about Boeing, that's some high-tech stuff. So you're talking about the Technology Center, Campbellsville University. I mean, that would all kind of fall into place with that. I believe that would really help.
In order to pursue economic growth, I guess they say in order to make money, sometimes you have to spend money.
This is true.
This has been a problem, though, for local governments in Kentucky because state-level budget problems are finding their ways into local-level coffers. Do you think that the county or that the city have been hampered by state-level budgeting? Is it making the job of the judge exec more difficult because of state-level budgeting?
I think the budget cuts have hurt our schools worse than our local county government. The schools have really been beaten down. I mean, you've seen how that Mr. Higgins had to raise the taxes to cover some expenses, and I mean, when they keep taking out millions of dollars out of our schools, out of the budget in Frankfort, what are you going to do? I mean, you have to make it up. And our county, as far as our county, I think our county's stable as far as what we get in on our tax revenue and all that. Got a pretty good budget to work with, so I don't think I would have to raise any taxes. I wouldn't.
You don't feel that additional revenues would be necessary?
Well, if we got the businesses to come in, the tax base would raise our revenues. I mean, we'd be making more money with our tax rate, say. We wouldn't have to raise taxes. We'd have more taxes coming in. It all goes back to getting business to come to Campbellsville. Got to have it.
A couple of other things that residents are frequently talking about, the ways that the county spends money, road repair, also the local animal shelter. Do you feel that more could be done to either improve road repairs or road construction in Taylor County? You had mentioned the expansion of the bypass, the local animal shelter. Do you feel it's well funded?
The animal shelter is well funded. I believe that it's budgeted well. Now, your local highways, of course, that's state. Most of our county roads are in good shape. In fact, there's been some blacktop that really probably didn't need it, but I understand that each magistrate gets so much allotted for each mile of roads. They get so many miles a year, and I know they want to spend that money. So, but it looks to me like if a road didn't need blacktopping, that maybe we could shift that money maybe somewhere else and put it where it might be. But the shelter needs, it has some issues. That lower building that it has up there, water runs through it. And that's where we use some of our inmates, maybe, to go out there and help, maybe take the metal off of that building, maybe move up on the top of the hill, water doesn't run on top of the hill, and build a new building up there, and that would work that shelter better. So.
There are a couple of different ways that you can raise revenue. We talked about taxes a little bit. There's also a fair amount of grant money that's available, either from the state or national organizations or from private donors. Do you feel that the county could be doing more to try to acquire some of that grant money to work? What sort of grants do you think that maybe the county should be looking at?
Well, there is a lot of grant money out there. In fact, I serve on the airport board, and we just acquired $850,000 grant. And that's full money. That's all money. And to build a new terminal building at our airport, which is old. I don't know the exact year it was built, but we're in desperate need. And you picture that, and you just think of companies maybe flying into our airport, and that's the first thing they're going to see is that new terminal building. And then they're going to get on most usually Broadway and go down. So, and I think we've done a good job keeping the beautification of Campbellsville is getting better all the time. And people see that. And then they see the line of restaurants, the new school, and all that. And Campbellsville School's remodeled. All that, we got it all going in our favor. But grants, and I've noticed there's some other grants available. There's one to maybe start a small water park for the kids to have something to do in the summer. And there's a grant for I noticed one today for some historical grant where you can back up discs to download stuff so everything isn't on your paper. So if something burns, you don't lose it all. So, there's a lot of grant money,
Most of the viewers who'll be watching these video podcasts will be watching them in the week to maybe the few days before the November 6th election. Do you feel that there's one characteristic that sets you apart, and not just from your opponent, but from all the candidates who they're going to be considering, one characteristic that you say represents you that should persuade them to vote for you in November?
Well, I love people. I love kids. Kids is one of my things that, in fact, I have 2 adopted children that me and my wife adopted. And the kids, if we can just get them started young enough and teach them and get them off of this opioids and all this stuff, I believe we can help. I really do. But it takes somebody that's going to stand up to get rid of the opioid problem to start with. We got to get rid of it. It's got to go.
Mr. Smith, thank you for your time.
Yes, sir.
And for those of you watching at home, I certainly appreciate you joining us. This is one of a series of podcast video interviews that we've been doing with candidates for local office. So if you haven't found the others, please go and check them out or check us out on our website. And if you could do me a favor, come November 6th, please go vote. God bless.